Hey, everybody. Everything's working. Someone say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, there it goes. There
We're
it
all
works.
here. Okay.
You are doing great, Mom. We're all here for solidarity with Mom. And in solidarity, all of your characters have their left hands broken for the session.
Damn.
All
right.
That'd be terrible. You have to roll 2 dice. And if the left hand is higher, you don't get to use that one. It's permanent disadvantage when rolling with the left hand.
But it's
Oh no, it's her right hand because she's typing with her left hand. Damn it.
It's even worse.
Sarah gets a negative inspiration for correcting me and making me
Now
look like
you
an
all know
idiot
what
on the
it's like
internet.
to be me. Now
It's
you all
not
know what
hard.
it's like to be left-handed.
Not hard to make
I
me
mean-
look like an idiot on the internet. Hey, I'm left-handed
I
on the
learned how
computer.
to. It's not hard to learn how to be ambidextrous.
I'm ambidextrous. I use the mouse in my left hand. I'm weird like that.
Interesting.
He said, taking a sip of water.
Oh yes, giant sip of water. Oh. The whiskey
Good
is
water.
this big today.
Jesus.
So, last time when we were here, where's my actual dice? I want to beat you guys up with real dice today. Yes, real dice day. Because I got my new ones. Remember, I got to use them.
Oh, that's right. They're little shiny ones.
Mm-hmm. I got all sorts of shiny ones. I'm going to use my Be Gay Do Crime dice today. Those are my favorite.
Ooh.
Because I'm about to do some crimes. But last time we were here, you all were exploring the vast nothingness of just white, snowy, glacial environment of Holderima. We had a few things happen. You guys had the sled dogs rolling, which was great. You almost got lost in a blizzard, and Doran kept trying to like lead you guys onward, but thankfully someone had the wherewithal to make sure to go tie up the people who were missing and like lash everyone together. And then we were like, oh hey, BT Dubs, Botrin's like, you guys want a house to stay in while the blizzard's here? There goes the difficulty of all of my travel. So now with easy mode locked in, you guys were just like, let's go exploring. And you headed out to continue exploring the frozen wasteland. You then, what else we had? We have a chasm that we turned Max into a Marker Max.
Marker Max. Maxrodon.
Maxrodon.
Thanks.
Maxrodon Bridge.
Yeah.
The Maxrodon Bridge, which we illusioned, and my challenges aren't tough enough. I just have to, you guys get to use magic to beat the challenges. I have to use magic just to like hurt you. Be like, oh look, we made a cool bridge. I'm like, cool. Lightning explodes off of the ice now because Max touched it. So the chasm opens up to 20 feet wide and Max falls down.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. And then a ice elemental mega fish with tentacles and just disgusting this burst out of the ice when you guys were in the middle of a glacial lake and tried to eat Shoutha, which you guys were having absolutely none of. Not to mention Isadora, who's Maddie will be joining us soon, everybody. She's just a little late today. She had some personal stuff going on, so she'll be here soon. Yeah, to which she said, no, that does not happen. He does not get to kill Shoutha. And then Max backed that up with a watch me be a giant fish and turn into a whale and dove after our orc queen, apparently, that everybody, you guys just can't let NPCs die.
Nope.
Yeah,
Not on our watch.
If I had thrown Maribel in there, like in the mix of that fight, you guys probably would have vaporized the entire lake, is what I'm thinking.
Scorched earth.
Yeah.
All things dead.
Everything dies.
Nothing left.
There's here. Welcome to Holderima, the frozen rime of the world, the edge where this tidally locked planet's twilight perpetually freezes. And now the world is going to turn into Waterworld from Kevin Costner because these JAs lost their southern mama and they literally melt the ice caps.
Bring it.
Who needs global warming when you have the Midnight Parliament?
Just every day.
Am I right?
They're fireballing the shit out of that lake.
Fire breath 24/7. Just.
You guys are monsters. Speaking of monsters, though, let's let everybody introduce themselves. We'll start with Josh.
Hi, everybody. My name's Josh. I play Jaeger Hellstrom, the human alchemist gunslinger.
And Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I play Maximil, the Tiefling Sorceress Bard.
And I'm gonna do. I can't click it because I locked it. Did I lock it? Hold on. Let me move this down.
I'm gonna talk as the chair.
Hi, I'm Medi, and I play the half-elf gun tank, Isadora.
You just moved.
Move my camera. Zach.
Hi, everyone. I am Zach. I play Doran, the Dragonborn Barbarian.
And Nate.
Hi, I'm Nate. I play Soren, the half-elf blade singer rogue.
And everybody's favorite man who now has a fantasy park named after him that he shared with us.
That's right.
Freaking cool.
David.
Hi, I'm David. I play Batran Yorl, the human witch warlock, and I travel with my own prefab house. Anywhere, whatever.
Do you have the wide load bumper sticker on as you drag it around the tundra?
Spackle does, yes. Yes.
So Spackle. I'm Ben, be of the DM. We run this madness around here. Yeah, last week was the blast, but where we ended off, you all had made it to not Farthorn. It had to make it into the tweet and everything, but you made it to Farthorn, a abandoned mining village in the rugged peaks of the Rumford Tips. A gnomish explorer had insisted that these mountains would be rich in minerals and gemstones, and convinced a whole bunch of dwarves from a bygone era to come here and explore this. They came, they started mining. The city was at 250 people at its peak, and then something wiped it all out. We have no idea what it was. And I gotta give inspiration to Zach for tweeting the quote tweet of like today's episode and saying, what could have killed the people of Farthorn? Potentially a gas leak? Tune in to find out. So Zach gets to start off with inspiration.
Yay.
Gas veins, man.
We
Gotta be
don't
careful.
know anything, just that they vanished.
All you
Like,
know
do
is
we
that
know
they
that they
vanished.
died?
You really got to watch out for the gas, man. It's silent but deadly.
Don't inhale. That's the worst you can do.
Can Soren create for us some like canaries that we can carry around in cages just in case? So,
I'll turn
They
into
pass
a
out.
canary.
Not a druid. I don't have
Oh.
dust.
She turns into a canary, and then when she drops to 0 HP and transforms back into max, we know
Explodes
it's
out of the cage. Oh,
Oh god.
we're not gonna get through this. We're still 2 episodes
We're
away
gonna
from
be
the nice episode, so
From the
calm
nice
down.
episode.
Oof. All right. Well, yeah. With that, in the city of Farthorn, dug into the side is typical dwarven architecture. It looks like most of the dwarven architecture you've seen. Trying to think, actually, probably potentially Botrin in your youth. I would say also potentially Jaeger, but Doran,
And a little bit
no.
in Busat, right?
A little bit in Busat, but not like the dwarven sister cities of Cyorion.
I mean,
Okay.
couldn't we find one?
We did. I just don't think we went into it.
I don't think you guys went into it,
But
you
we
know
fought the goth
of them.
there.
Oh, that's right. We fought the Goth. Didn't we have to go through the
You
city to
did.
get to it?
It was a. You did,
Yeah.
it was a. The Goth
We
was
went-
in a underwater like cave system. Remember, the
Oh,
boat
yeah.
was pulled in there. It was a river off of the ocean underwater.
Off
Yeah.
of Tall Gorlet, which was on the surface.
Yeah, Tall
Not to
Gorlet
be
was established as as a surface town. So when the dwarfs make towns in Cyorion, they name the city. So like our capital of Kantarum, the dwarven city, or the dwarven. Oh shoot! Now I can't remember. Oh no, my brain fog is setting in. I need to be on the map that actually deals with that game. But so Higek was another one. So when they established the mining colony of Higek, Higek had Tal Higek, Tal apostrophe Higek, and that's the surface trading city. Usually at outposts, it's no more than like a tavern and like a couple merchant stalls, really small, and it sits right in front of the entrance to the mine. In the capital city, it is a large city, houses like 100,000 people. You know, there's full economy there and ecosystem, but miles under the surface, they will dig tram lines down to where they actually want to mine, and in there they will carve out a dwarven mining city, and that's referred to as Mol. So like Tal Higek's sister city is Mol Higek, and MOL apostrophe. And in those cities, outposts are typically carved to dwarven height. So as soon as you all come in here, if you are not 5 feet or shorter, you are stooping.
Great.
Yep, you have to stoop to get in here. Yeah, at the tallest, they're like 5.5 feet tall. So outposts like this will only be carved to dwarven height, whereas like the capital dwarven city and some of their other major cities are carved so that they allow outsiders usually come in and to live and work in those cities because they get pretty massive. But outposts like this, all about efficiency. Dwarves and gnomes would have been some of the only things here, really. And as you start to come in, dwarven architecture is what it is. You know, there are dilapidated dwarven houses, but they are still weathered, frostbitten, slightly crumbling with time. As with any other city, there are posts, T-posts for banners to be hanging from, but shreds is all that's left. They're with wind coming down the tunnel and no care for them, no heat coming from within inside with the mine, and the forge is not running. There's no heat to keep the place warm. They've all but faded and crumbled over time.
Are there any iron ingots by the forge?
Oh, you're really at the entrance to the city right now.
While we traverse, I'm looking for iron ingots
You got
at
it.
the forge.
Is there a place that looks like some sort of administrative building where records may be kept?
You can either make a history check if you're proficient, or
I think I am.
or if you're not, you can just make some check, like a straight wisdom roll.
I am proficient in history.
Okay, you can go ahead and make a history check. I figured studying back home, you would have learned a little bit.
And my bad dice rolls continue to vex and haunt me for a total of 8.
So you know, dwarven mining villages, typically outposts, are centered around some sort of central building. And you know they kind of spread out from there because they spider out in these mining veins that move throughout the city. I gotta bring down my phone volume. Yeah, there we go. They kind of spider out from there, and you know your gut tells you center building, definitely where things would be. So if you head down the shaft, the mine shaft, you're gonna want to head towards the central building.
All right.
Actually, Max, one more thing you can give me is an emphasis roll.
Okay. Using my old one or...
Use 2d20s and whatever is the
Okay.
highest. This is for something different.
Okay. I've got a 7 and a 17, so
Oh.
the 17 is higher.
Fantastic. So with you, who has, received a little bit of mocking because people ask him why he's not as tall as his cousin, the dwarf Durin Stoneforge. So he's Durin, Durin, and he gets mocked a little bit why he's not as tall as his cousin Doran. But Durin Stoneforge pipes up as you guys are all kind of getting into the cave, and he overhears you talking. Oh, we gotta go to the central building. And Miss Maxmiddle, I'm not sure the last time you've been to a dwarven city, but central building on an outpost like this would be the forge. They're gonna keep everybody near the heat. So you're likely gonna find records and whoever happened to be running the city in their home.
Okay, thank you.
Not trying to call you dumb or anything, please. I apologize. You're a little intimidating, so please don't hurt me. And he just goes back to shout that.
Thank you for your help.
As a reminder, I think you guys lost a couple mercenaries, so you are down to...
I thought we only lost,
you lost
the
one. Yep, you lost one.
One dude who fell and snapped his neck.
Augustine.
So you lost you have 13 mercs. You have Rodnan, Shatha, and Maribel too. How do you want to do this city? Do you want them all to wait here at the entrance while you guys check it out? What are you thinking?
While we're looking around, is there any way I could look and see if there is noticeable signs of struggle that happened here? Scratch marks on durable surfaces like claws or, acid burns or anything strange like that?
Yeah, absolutely. You can
just investigation, or
you can roll an investigation check, and we'll say you're basically going to move at half speed as you kind of move through and check things out.
7 plus 4, I think. Yeah, 7 plus 4, 11.
Okay, so you'll be keeping an eye out for that as you kind of move through the city. But what is your guys' plan for heading into the city?
Oh, actually, let me use this.
Maybe we don't want backup to be too
12.
far away from us, I'm thinking. So what if we just go ahead and have them be, 100, 200 feet behind us?
Okay.
So that, if we need them to stay back, they can, but what we've already explored and make sure that there's nothing there, they'll be fine. This is a question. My intelligence is 11.
we can definitely go ahead. And
I am smarter than Nexamil. What?
Yeah.
Sword and I can probably get up there.
Doesn't seem right.
Quite a bit, and I can message back if we need to.
It's not a bad idea, although maybe closer than 100 feet, just in case we need to shout for them for assistance should we encounter anything dangerous.
I like that idea.
Okay.
So 60 feet?
That sounds about right, yeah.
Within healing range?
I hear a knocking at the door.
There is a knocking at the door behind us.
Did someone literally knock on my door or something?
No. Ben,
one of your players did. One of your players did.
Maddie, she says, I'm here.
Maddie's ready to come here.
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know we had her locked out.
You should have. I just needed to let her her to let me know so I could be prepared to fix cameras. All right.
Let me in.
Hey, Maddie.
Hello. Just wanted to know if it was okay to hop in if you had the cameras fixed.
I need you to turn yours on, and then they will be fixed, hopefully.
I'm Josh now.
Yep, I just got to drag
Oh, no.
people around.
Bang,
Nope,
bang, 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 bang.
Let me
fine.
fix this background.
It's fine, don't you worry.
Oh, I'm the other bang 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 person.
Maddie. There we go.
Maddie, I'm Jaeger. Bang, bang, bang.
Also, Zach and David have switched spots.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Oof.
Nice.
As I'm fixing this too, being absolute professionals. If you want to share the stream with your friends, we are 20 followers away through getting through 100 followers. So, yeah, help us out.
That's right.
Okay. Thanks, Maddie.
For some reason, I
Welcome
lost my background, so I gotta figure that out later.
Oh.
Need to find a new one. Now you have cool purple cityscape.
Yep.
Okay, so as you are all preparing to walk in, Maddie or Isadora finally kind of awakens from her zoned out state, looking at the walls, trying to figure out where the heck you guys are, and remembers, hey, we need a marching order for how we're going to walk down here. So how are you guys entering the city? What's the marching order as you kind of cautiously make your way inside? What are you guys thinking?
Center back.
Center
Front,
back.
Yeah,
Where are we?
And I would be towards the front.
You are in the
Farthorn.
Farthorn. Yes, Farthorn.
We're in Farthorn, yay.
As we're going, I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace.
Okay.
So
So who was a
move
front?
quietly and Stealthily.
I'll go up front behind Soren.
Soren in the front.
So yeah, no, Jaeger front, me second, Doran.
Okay.
Max.
Jaeger.
Also forgot it applies to whatever. So that's the effect for Pass Without Trace.
Okay.
Weird.
Sweet.
Where should I be?
Jaeger.
Probably strung in the back.
Isadora and Botrin in the back, I guess. We're bringing up the rear.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys can protect our flank.
Yeah.
Which is not
Run if we don't make it.
Yeah.
Go on without us.
All right, so I got Jaeger, Soren, Doran, Max, Patron, Isadora, and Durin stays behind. After telling you, hey, don't go look in the center building. That's probably not the spot for you. Okay.
What if the mystery is inside the center building?
Well, he's just saying that that's likely not the place where records are kept. Jaeger, Soren is moving slowly and like investigating walls for signs of struggle. So you guys are moving at about half speed.
It's fine.
Stealthily.
And stealthily.
Yep, I'll have you guys roll a stealth check if you need to. But
I will be activating my monocle to detect magic as we move.
as soon as you do, the lights you see coming in through here, there's an interesting bit of information about this mining city, and as well as most dwarven mining cities, they do have light routing systems that tend to pull light amplified from the surface down to the caves below. And this one has a bit of the shimmering aurora effect of some of the features and the auroras that you've been seeing in the distance here. It is almost capturing like a prism of light as it kind of showers across in front of you in like a very faded rainbow color.
Is it like the deck prism thing? Who posted about that? Was that in this Discord or was that another one? Where did I see that? I don't remember. There was a thing on ships where instead of having lanterns below deck, they would put a prism of glass on the top deck in the floor, and it would reflect light down below, like that.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Where did I learn that?
I don't know, but it sounds familiar, and it could very well be the bug in my brain that made this up. However, there is a bit of an enchantment on the there's an enchantment on the actual light beam as you're coming in here. There's an abjuration, and you can see it on some of the colored beams of light as they're moving slowly, and they are
Like up
coming
in the sky?
like coming down and crossing the path. There's a bit of an enchantment on some of the light.
Okay, I will discreetly message to Soren then and just kind of rip the tattoo off my neck and throw it his way. There's something about these lights. They're giving off some type of energy, magic, abjuration vibes.
Huh. All right. He sees that through detect magic. Would that make sense to me as like a light that is warding in some way? Like imbued with warding magic?
You've heard of some interesting ways to cast warding spells before. Not like it's that strange.
Okay.
It's possible.
Just kind of, I guess that makes sense. Keep things out, keep things in. I don't know.
Ooh, keep things in.
What if they dug too greedily and too deep?
So as we move forward, are we like going to intersect with this light beam?
You will.
That's like
There's a few of them.
crossing. Okay.
As we get closer, I'll pop out Zentiri and see if, like, just send her into it and see if anything happens to her.
Who?
Who?
Oh, not Zentiri. Jesus, that's a different game. Oh my god. Different owl cat. Different owl cat stuck in my head. Astrid.
For Pardon me,
fire
what?
druid from my game that I run. His little owl cat is a fire spirit, and it's named Centauri.
I'm waiting for monster effects to pop up in the chat and be like, hmm?
She's gonna be like, you have who? Oh Lord, sorry.
All right, so what were you having Astrid do?
Just fly towards the beam of light and see if it interfaces with her in any way. If it like, I don't know, disintegrates or like alarms go off or I don't know.
Yeah, you hear as she intersects with it the faint twinkling of wind chimes in the distance. And you see the spell trigger. It is an alarm spell.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll rip the message off the road and throw it back to well, I guess, or Sword and I ahead of our party.
Soren and you are at the front, and I'm assuming 5 foot space
Yeah.
between each of you guys as you. Like,
Yeah, so
walk
then
in.
I'll throw that back to Shoutha.
Okay. No change here. Be careful.
Yeah, just get off the road if you can.
It
I
is
think we
a
alerted
single
something.
road down.
Okay, well,
Is it? Can we get past it at all without like, I don't know, like teleportation magic, or do we like? Can we like duck? Can we
You could, yeah, like
maneuver?
maneuver through it with an acrobatics check.
Okay.
then I will
And
just alarm her.
It's clearly visible, right? Like it's not like you got to throw sand at it to see the laser
It's
beams.
like the slightly blue beam that's like shining off of, you know, this side of the wall, and then there's like another reddish colored beam coming off of a side further down on the left, and it's, you know, like I said, like that
Okay.
prism of light, and there's little bits of them, and specific colors are enchanted on the way down.
Okay. When the alarm went off, did it look like anything happened, other than the little wind chime thing?
No. You heard the wind chime and you didn't see anything else happen.
Okay.
Where did the wind chime sound come from?
Much further in. Like, you could hear it echoing down the halls.
Okay.
Great.
So it's like an alarm.
Yep.
Okay.
And we just tripped it.
Yes. So. All right. Well, let's just move then. I mean, we already set it off. If anything is actually paying attention to it, then it knows we're here. It's
The
charging down the hallway at us right now, right?
Nothing's charging down the hallway.
All right. Let's just move.
Well, quick argument against that.
Hmm.
Astrid could have been like a bird, so it wouldn't have been noticed. But we are most certainly not a bird. And so, like, if it suddenly gets like a beep, 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 or chime, 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 because we're all going through it, then that may set off alarms if some evil entity is listening.
That's fair. I look over at Eager. Do you want to be brave or shall I?
guess I can go first. I don't mind.
All right.
Don't tell
I'll just pull out a grenade in anticipation.
Just remember, anybody who's over 5 feet tall is
Gotta
hunkered
duck.
down and crouching as they walk through this hall.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Maximil's walking tall.
Max. Max, produce me.
Please,
You, I'm 6'10".
produce him. So yeah, I'll just go forward and I'll have a bomb out in one of my hands, ready to throw it.
As you finish going probably about a quarter mile down this shaft entrance, the cityscape starts to open up a little further. You can hear as you enter into the main kind of town rotunda, echoes of your footsteps, faint but haunting, resonate through these deserted streets, conjuring imaginations of a lively town that once bustled with dwarven and gnomish life. There's now an eerie silence that hangs over the city, though, occasionally broken by the haunting call of arctic winds that seem to whisper secrets of the past as they whip through the tunnels. You can see at the central building abandoned mining equipment, rusted and forsaken, relics of a time when these miners toiled in search of riches. And scattered not haphazardly. There's some organization to it, but homes of various sizes encircle this primary building. A larger storehouse behind, some of them off to the left, as they're set up in almost a semicircle shape, laying out with the large central part. If you were standing in the hallway walking out into this space, you are at the center of the circle, and this half circle extends beyond you. And in the distance, you can see reflecting off the light forgotten mine shaft entrances. You can see the dark tunnels leading down, their depths concealed by that darkness, reminding you of not only the dangers of living out here on the Arctic frontier, but those that these people faced digging deep underneath the glacier. But it's silent. Nothing's pursuing you.
Any writing?
You see on one of the banners down here a little further, in front of the main central building, it says Farthorn across the top of the banner. It seemed to be handmade by someone here, and there's an Arctic mountain with a mining pick with a symbol embossed into the center of the mountain.
Okay. And on the tunnels, nothing that indicates like
Not
what
that
those
you can
tunnels lead
tell
to?
from this distance. Generally, there should be some sort of marking or a map somewhere. But from where you stand, the tunnels in the distance, they're a couple 100 feet away. It's just decently lit down here because of the refractory lighting crystals, that you can see where the tunnels continue in the distance. This is the central rotunda, the main place where everybody lived. This small little cave that they dug out is what would have kept them all warm.
You said lived. Do we see like personal effects, bedding, belongings, clothing, anything like that?
You see homes, but
Oh.
from where you stand, you're not sure. Homes would have served multi-functions. People, the dwarves typically would build a home over a forge or a home over a smithy, places where they would do work, because the heat generated below would help to keep the homes warm on the upper level. And in small spaces like these, planning was everything. But most of the homes were carved out of the rock itself just to be part of the structure and keep the cave intact. And you can see that almost all of them have just refractory crystals on the corners where the corners posts of the house go up and meet the cave surface or the cave ceiling. But then there's a space etched out where the refractory crystals go in to help reflect that ceiling level light that kind of reflects through the entire place. But in here, thankfully, after coming through the tunnel, because this is multi-leveled, this does open up and you guys can stand fully erect in here in this town area.
Are we close to any houses?
Yeah, as you come out, you're probably about 15 feet from the main building, like the central building, and you can see in the windows there's a large crucible and forge in there. This would have been where they melted down ores and refined them, and it would have been the central heat source for the city. And then just outside of that, the very next buildings would be functioning workshops or repair shops, and above them would be homes.
I'd like to go into one.
Okay.
Were we told last session how long this place has been emptied or abandoned? Or is that something we don't have yet to discover?
It was a very long time ago. I mean, it was just rumor, and people have not come out to Farthorn for, I think it was like 400 or 500 years. There was little exploration during that time because there was enough conflict in the world as the world's races were meeting and interacting for the first times. There's a lot of upheaval, and pretty much there was plenty of land that no one saw any reason to really go to the frozen edge of the world. Some people explored it, but it was few and far between.
$14 perception check. Any iron ingots?
Yeah, heading into the forge. You walk in and go looking for iron ingots. Excellent. So Soren, or you watch as Jaeger walks off in front of you 15 feet, heading right for this forge. Jaeger, click.
Is there like a ceiling?
There's a ceiling above you, yeah.
Gigi gun to the ceiling.
Okay. Roll a d20 as the floor falls out from underneath you. I need an acrobatics check. You're not going to get at a disadvantage, but your DC is much lower since you're just reaching for a gun.
Do you want an actual acrobatics check or just a d20?
Acrobatics check. Let's go and do that.
Ooh, natural 20 for 27.
Nice.
Sucker.
With style, you zip up to the ceiling with the Gigi gun as the loosened floor stones fall out from underneath you, revealing glacial spikes, and you can hear hissing as this colony of ice snakes
Eek.
is hissing
Gross.
at you from underneath the underneath where the stone collapsed on you.
Just from the ceiling. Watch your step.
You all right?
Yeah. Should be good.
It's about a 6 foot by 6 foot area in front of the forge, which would, if you had walked down the hall, you would have seen the forge and you would have walked straight to it. So it's the first place somebody would have gone.
And they put a snake pit there?
Not a dwarven thing at all.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
was this clearly like a pressure trap or was it just loose
This was,
and that's what's living?
You'd have to get down and make an investigation check, but
All right,
There's a bunch of fucking snakks down there right now.
there's a bunch.
I'm not
there's
going all the way
there's a
down
bunch of
there.
Snakes down there, yeah.
I'll kind of
I mean, I
swing
like
to the other
snakes.
side. Just step back on solid ground, but I'll take a look to see if there was any mechanism or anything that released the ground.
With your passive perception stuff, just as soon as you swing in, you can see the other pieces of the stone and a bunch of the rubble piled up off to the side inside the forge here. Somebody dug it out and then put a bunch of half stones here and created this trap. And that stone is
Weird.
the rest of the things in here. It's been cold for a long time, so there's hoarfrost built up on all the stones in here, just from being here for a long time. This has noticeably less in the pile, but it does have it on there. So walls, hundreds of years. This pile, about 100 or so years.
Okay.
I'll
Um,
whisper that to Soren with message again, but just so he hears it. They booby trapped this pretty good. We need to be extra careful.
Yes, we should move slowly. Can you get down?
But he's in the forge now. He's
Yeah.
swung into the forge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can go up and down.
I thought you were
pretty
still
well.
just like
Can we tell how long ago these traps were made?
like
about
100
100
right?
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's just, I'm saying if you were to estimate it, the hoarfrost on the pile of rocks is 75% less hoarfrosty than the hoarfrost on the walls after the fire went out,
Okay.
The
Is there
ice
a
buildup is
safe way-
noticeably less.
Is there a safe way to the forge, or if I wanted to go there, would I have to try and jump over the pit?
You could jump over the pit, and since you see it now, your long jump with your athletics is easy enough to jump it.
Okay, then yeah, I want to just jump over it and get to the forge with Jaeger.
Max wanted to check out the workshop next to the forge where people lived.
Okay.
She just would have quickly gone up to the sort of skimming over the workshop, but then going up to the house. And the main point of this is to see whether people left in a hurry. Did they take valuable possessions, or pictures still here? Are notebooks still here? Are warm clothes still here?
Absolutely. What
Money.
is, so let's see, we've got Max
Don't
is
forget the
checking
money.
out the forge, or one of the shops next to the forge. Which one did you say in
Yeah.
particular?
The one to the right.
To the right. Doran is in the smithy. Oh, the smelter, that's what it is, smelter. Jaeger's in the smelter. Soren, what are you doing? We're just gonna go down the list and see what everyone's doing while we kind of spread out and check this place.
I'm gonna stay where I am. Have Astrid out and kind of do around the rotunda through her perception, kind of just checking individual tunnels, trying to see if there is any sign of more activity, like obviously past activity, down one way or the other, or if there's any writing that indicates what these tunnels lead to.
Okay. Patron, what are you doing?
I'm very tempted to find a quiet place and kind of slip into the dream to see if I can't discern anything about the history of this place, if there's any sort of like leftover psychic residue or anything. I don't know if that's possible or not. It may require an ability that I don't have, or a sense that I don't have. I really don't have anything in my book of tricks to be able to sort of like help out with investigation. I mean, I was trying to discern if there was any sign of anything that happened in the yard around these buildings, if we had seen like any sort of sign of creature attack. I know that there are ice creatures that burrow into the ice and stuff, so I don't know.
Okay. Isadora?
She's going to stay outside and just kind of keep an eye on everything, just keeping watch in case anything may have seen them entering the square, see if anything is lurking about.
Okay. You're going to be like on an overwatch position, just kind of keeping an eye out for everything. I like it. Okay. Let's start with Jaeger and Doran. Which is cool. All right. Jaeger, you do find some iron bars.
Sick. How many?
There's a pile of them sitting next to this interesting two-piece forge. The smithy has it's quite unique. So you see the standard crucible where iron is melted down, impurities are removed, poured into bars. And then you see an additional crucible off to the side a little bit that half of it is exposed to the same heating source. The dwarves are very smart here. They've tapped down into not only geothermal energy, but are burning things on top of it to make much higher heat sources. And you can see some of the pipes that they've set up here for these two forges. One goes to the iron crucible, which is completely filled up with this. It would have been completely filled up. There's a solid block of iron in the bottom of it since it's gone cold. Something was left here and just melted in a melted state and is solidified. But then on the other side, in this interesting split crucible, it has some strange sphere in there of like this interesting shifting colored metal that seems to be blended partially with the iron. It seems to be imperfect and incomplete, and you can see where this dual temperature chamber that has a pipe going down out another side that is covered in icicles. There's ice completely coming off of this thing as if it was always a cold blasting piece. And then there's the heated steam side on the other side. But there's a strange chunk of this material that's not really fully formed, but stacked neatly on one side. It seems this iron was being used as some sort of agent to make these other bars that you see sitting off to the side. And there's a notebook, like a leather bound book in Dwarvish here, like near the workbench where someone was working on these and coming up with like how it works and trying to figure out. But you look at these other bars and they give you just this, it takes your breath away, this awe-inspiring moment looking at them. The surface of these bars reflect the shifting colors of an aurora borealis. They give this otherworldly, mesmerizing presence as you look at them. And with your detect magic on, these are incredibly magic bars.
First, is it trapped?
Make an investigation check.
I don't want to go
Asking the important questions.
investigation. And that is a 21.
As far as you know, they are not trapped.
I will touch the magical bars and grab them and
They're-
pull them.
They
into my
are
bag.
very cold when you touch them. And it's not a cold like you're used to feeling. Unless you've ever like jumped out of an airplane or done a high atmosphere dive. These feel like you would the air you would feel outside of an airplane, you know, that thin otherworldly cold, not the frigid, biting, wet cold of snow and ice.
Okay. How many bars in total, or is it just like the one incomplete?
There is a massive stack of them here. And you can see the back of the workshop as you're like loading a couple of these and like looking at your bag. You get a glance out the window, and there's a forge almost directly behind you. The door here next to you, you're looking out a window, the door looks directly to that. And outside of that forge, there's about 500 of these bars stacked up, just a massive pile of them. They were forging these into something.
Okay, I will.
And Doran, you
I'll
see
look.
all this stuff too. Like you kind of looking around, looking at all this stuff with him, and you can see all these bars.
Yeah, I'll look to Doran. I'm gonna need to read this book because they were making something, and these are incredibly magical. I've never seen bars like this before.
These, I don't look at me, they're new to me too, but I mean, I was just coming along to see if maybe I could help in like restarting the forge and getting heat to the area, but these bars are much more of an important find.
I think if we're gonna restart the forge, I want to know the process that it takes, because there's some type of coolant here that if we do it wrong, I think we could cause some real harm, but also that alerts whoever's here.
Yeah, you better read that book. I will pick up as many of these bars as I can carry
Yep.
without.
I wouldn't necessarily say touch them because they're freezing cold, and I mean that in the most sincere way. It could cause some damage to you if you do too much, but I don't want to necessarily go around messing with someone's hoard, if you get what I mean. I was looking for ammunition, but
You picked one
this
up,
might
right,
work.
Jaeger?
Yeah.
Make an athletics check. It's starting to get like when you picked it up, holding it for a few seconds, it's starting to get painful. And this is just for
Sweet.
you gripping onto this thing and holding it.
A 6.
You drop
Athletics.
it. Like it's painfully.
Yeah.
You drop it, and I need both of you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Uh-oh. Ow.
Hey, look, bomb bars.
Uh-oh.
Boom.
These are right up my alley. 23. I'm taking them all.
And I got a 17.
Okay. This
Do you have advantage on this?
explosion of cold just blasts out as the bar impacts the ground. You both save, so you take half, so you both take 3 points of cold damage as magic is unleashed from this. And you can see the aurora fades a little bit, but it's still kind of got that glow to it.
Well, I guess we know what they do now.
Yeah, don't drop them.
No,
I know,
who has
I'm
the
gonna
bag? Who's got the bag of holding?
I have one.
You okay? Good. Then we have a way to safely transport these.
Yeah, it's
Just
my
go.
idea, and then maybe I can make some ammo from them, but we'll see. I'm gonna comprehend languages and read the Dwarvish book.
Okay. You sit there and start reading, and are you having Doran load up bars while you're doing this, or are you waiting?
Wait on the bars because I don't know what they'll do. I want to understand what they were making first
So
before actually loading them into a bag that could potentially rip a hole in the universe as we know it. Don't want to necessarily do that.
the dwarves, since this is, it's not crazy, so I'm not gonna make you wait to know this. It's really the diary of the forge master here, the smithy, really the lead of this this endeavor. But it describes, it's from Balin Rockhammer was the guy's name, Baelin. Describes the process of having found the iron and getting the forge set up, and journaling what was going on and just kind of keeping a record of his personal experience here, as he got the the molten pipe set up, and that's what they originally had first, and this other piece is definitely like an offshoot of it. And then it starts talking about this ethereal metal that they found in the mines. Something here imbued them with what the glaciers were made of themselves, is what it came down to. It was an icy metal that they thought it was ice originally, so they tried to apply heat to it, but found that they could not melt it like ice. It had raw ore-like properties, and they found that if they mined it out, they could get chunks of this ice metal. And they described looking at this blue glittering aurora-like structure. And then through a lot of experimentation, there's a lot of information here that he experimented for quite a long time before he finally tried to use this flash freezing and heating process to bind it to iron, which he thought would be more stable. And he was successful, and he named his creation Glycerium.
Glycerium, that's dope.
Glycerium.
That's so rad.
Put that in chat for you guys. But
Glycerium.
he found that they could forge it into weapons, and people would, it would erupt in cold damage when they struck targets with them. They could put it into armor, and people would be able to take layers off and walk out into the freezing cold of Holderima with just the armor on. And that people could channel the energy of Glycerium, whether through armor or through a weapon, to unleash a cone of cold in front of them, just a blast of frigid ice shards. And they found that it either kind of came back to its energy on its own, it just naturally resorbed energy, or when using a weapon, about once an hour you could force it by driving your weapon into solid ice. You could pull the very cold from it. You would instantly melt about a 5-foot cube of ice. He kind of describes the process, and you would instantly pull all the cold into the weapon and recharge the ability. The out of game Glycerium, weapons made from it deal an additional d6 cold damage. If you make armor out of it, it gives you cold resistance. Once per day, you can unleash a 3d6, 15 dex save, 15-foot cone of cold. It'll either charge on its own once per day, or you could fill a weapon, like you could impale a weapon into solid ice, and once an hour, you can recharge it by doing that.
What about the armor? Can you
The armor you can
roll around
release
in the
the
snow?
blast from, but you can't recharge it. They didn't figure out a way to recharge it.
Just
What
lie
about-
down in snow.
Did
Yeah,
they ever
just-
roll around in the snow and make no angels? Did they
Yeah,
try?
Swimming.
there is descriptions that they tried to dump into frigid water with it. They tried to roll around in the snow and the ice. They tried to cover themselves in ice. They there was one particularly dumb dwarf named Holfred who insisted that if they froze him in a solid block of ice, he could resorb it, and he died as a result of that.
Did they try shooting magic at each other?
They found that they could resist cold, damaging magic. That was about it.
But that didn't recharge the armor.
It's just the weapons you could recharge. The basics of it for the system is you have to actually attack ice, slam it. And it's not like range weapons won't work. You need to actually put it into the snow to work. But the process to mold it was painstaking. That's why there is a huge pile of bars, because they were able to produce them faster. But the rapid reheating and freezing took them, in game crafting system terms, like to make a long sword out of it, it takes you, like 4 days of prep time based on how good you are. But since these are basically +2 magic items, we're talking like 12 days of crafting time to make like a good +2. These take double that because of the rapid heating and cooling. It takes almost 24 days to put together a weapon out of these things. They are incredibly hard to forge with and require just the right environment to do it.
So, like, if we took this back to the mainland, it probably wouldn't even fucking hold, would it?
They would hold their energy. These bars are made, but
okay, got it.
To forge them into something else other than bars will take
You need
days.
to do it here, though,
Yeah.
right?
either here or another environment where they could be rapidly
Interesting.
frozen and heated.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
And I know
Can
sword
I-
guy that doesn't even float or like sword brittle testing, like freezing the but
I don't care.
this is my
It's magic.
cool magic
It's magic.
moment.
Yeah,
If,
I don't give a fuck.
if
It's
I
magic.
ascertain how long it took me to do it with lead, could I figure out the time it would take me to do it with these to make bullets?
You're not even sure you can do it.
Okay. Is there lead?
There is, like I said, there's a whole bunch of lead that they had to use.
Okay. Well,
they have-
we
no, sorry,
mix
they
it
had
between
iron.
iron and stuff.
Yep, they had iron. There is some lead in here as well, that they use for other things. There's lead for the tools and things like that. So
I'm
there's
gonna
iron
take
and
some
lead.
lead. And I'll
Search
also
the stock room for if there's any pre-made
Yeah.
laying around.
Sure.
how many lead ingots would
there's-
I be able to get?
4.
Perfect.
The iron ones, there's probably a couple dozen irons still. They forged other ingots of stuff that they found. They found some copper veins, some gold veins. There's 2 full gold bars here.
Oh, wow.
Someone else can take those. I'm taking the iron or the lead.
That's a shitload
Sorry,
of money.
and I'll
It is a
take
shitload of money.
I'll
That's a
take
shitload of
some of the glacial.
The
Bars,
Glycerium
but I
is
want-
probably worth a lot more now.
I'm taking some glycerium.
Take the gold. Take
Well,
the gold bar.
While you guys are doing that,
I'll take the gold bars.
Soren
Yo,
exploring around with Astrid,
correct.
kind of checking
Um,
tunnels out, like just
Mhm.
going through the city and looking at the tunnels. You see that it's a spider web out there. There's 4 main tunnel entrances, 2 at the far left and right of this entrance, and then 2 more about 40 to 60 degrees up the circle arc. So there's
Okay.
4 leading into the mountains. And just briefly peeking down the little bit of light that's making it into there, you can see that they start to split and branch further off in there.
Okay.
The tracks that they use, there's a couple mine carts left, but the wood is all cold rotted out. Everything's rusted, so the tracks are in complete disrepair.
Right.
But there's fractally branching that dwarves do when they start going ham mining. You're talking, probably dozens of tunnels with 4 primary entrances.
Okay. And writing, anything like that on the tunnel entrances? Anything indicating what is down said tunnels?
They're named after some of the, like usually it's the foreman that digs the
Okay.
first one. So it's
The
like
Dave tunnel,
it's-
the Jeff tunnel,
the Crag tunnel, the Durgan tunnel, the Balin tunnel's one of them, Thrane's another one.
Okay.
But they're just really indicators, and they're named so that they can be mapped back to.
Okay.
But you don't notice
It
any
doesn't appear-
immediate danger like that.
Okay, and there doesn't appear to be any one tunnel that like they might have fortified as a defensive measure or something like that, like barricades, anything like more stuff down one tunnel or the other. It's all just kind of like splaying off tunnels of, oh, there's ore in them hills, that kind of thing.
Kind of that. They're all fairly dark, but what catches your eye is the Durgan tunnel as you kind of go past
Durgan
it. From left to right, going across the 180 degree arc, it's going to be Crag, Helga, Durgan, Balin. So if you're going left to right, it's the 3rd one. I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. Someone's going to fucking quiz me. Crag, Helga, Durgan, Balin. So the Durgan
Durgin.
Durgin, Durgan. The Durgan tunnel most of them are dark, but as you go past it, the molten rock kind of catches your eye. Some
Molten rock?
some explosion of heat came out of this tunnel and melted some of the rock along the sides of it, like where you thought it was just black and dark because of the tunnel. As you kind of the light shifted slightly, you saw the black reflect, and you can tell that it's scorched on that tunnel.
Oh, interesting. Okay, make a mental note of that. Does the wood? You said there's like minecart railings. Does the wood for that tunnel look particularly more burnt than decayed?
There is no wood on that tunnel.
Ah, okay.
That's the second thing you notice.
Okay. Shit. So something fiery down that way, likely.
Dragon.
Durgan, yeah.
In the Durgan tunnel. Ha!
In the Durgan tunnel, yeah.
Ben put that one right on the nose, huh? Now I'm gonna have to put a dragon down there. It only makes sense.
No.
Joke about calling dragons Durgans.
Dungeons and Durgans.
Durgans and Durgans.
There's a Durgan in this dungeon.
So
Frog door.
okay. Okay, so interest down the Durgan tunnel. I could be able to say that with a straight face now. No other indicators of like maps or anything like that that are still present at this point in time, though, right? Like,
You don't see any, just like going through Astra and looking at the perimeter. No.
okay.
I take that back. Near the entrance to those tunnels, there would be like a brain. The parchment made from animal skin.
Leather?
Not leather. That's a special name when they make it, but it's
Vellum?
more vellum, I think. No, that's too thin.
Is that what vellum is?
It's pretty thin. There's another thicker version of it, but yeah, basically kind of the same thing. But there's there's these hide looking like really thin, kind of almost leathery, but they're charts for that particular route that shows you like how many lefts you need to make, and it kind of shows the branching, but it's not accurate. It's like think of it like a representation, like a relationship chart, where it's like a node and then a line and then a node and it goes left and right and then another node.
It's like a subway map.
So you know like what lefts and rights you need to take to get back.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a subway map for like large city. Like this isn't the literal map, it's just relational. Okay, cool.
Correct.
God, was there anything else I wanted to do? I'm assuming no one is hiding here as she's like flying around scouting and nobody's like lurking in the shadows.
Nope, you don't see anything hiding.
Okay.
No one's waiting to do anything.
Okay. All right. So click back to my vision, poof her away. I'll go and gather up I'll gather up the little pieces of parchment or whatever they are. Are they retrievable or are they like on
They're
the
like
wall?
they're tacked into the wall with like nails as big as railroad ties.
Okay, I'll just go and take those off, writing on each of them what tunnel they correspond to, because the tunnel name is somewhere else visible as well, right?
Yes, the tunnel name's visible, like above it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I'll do that then, and then I'll reconvene, I guess, over at the forge.
Okay. Maximil,
Yeah.
you go to the home to the right.
Yes.
Interestingly, this home to the right, rubbish. There is some writing on the outside of it as you come in, and the other homes don't have lantern light or anything coming from them, but this one does have a lantern outside. It's lit. You can see it's not a candle, but there's like a little kind of fairy light like yours that's flickering inside of this lantern. But looking in the front door, as you kind of like rub some of the frost off to make sure it's safe inside, this home, the one above it, the home sits on top of what must be a tavern. You can see that there's a couple long tables where people could grab food and enjoy each other's company. In typical dwarven fashion, plenty of large kegs behind the bar. And a whole slew of wooden mugs. And you can see them tipped over on tables, mugs on the bar, but abandoned in place.
I opened the door.
Click.
I closed the door. No.
Nope.
Go get Isadora. Go get Isadora.
I leap over to the side to dodge out of the way of the door.
Okay. Which side are you jumping to, left or right? Or back?
Right.
Getting home alone.
You dive to the right. The door opens, and above you, in the ceiling, it opens up, and a massive pile of hard-packed snow drops onto where you were. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw with advantage, and if you succeed, you won't take half damage because you dove out of the way.
Yay! Saving throw?
Yep.
15.
DC was 17, I'm sorry.
No!
Yeah.
You get caught out by a large block of hard-packed snow, which is
Ow.
basically like getting hit by about a 25, 30-foot pillar of ice as it comes crashing down on top of you. Maximilian, you take 27 points of bludgeoning damage as it catches you, and you all hear a sickening crunch as Max's legs get caught underneath this big chunk of ice. And Isadora,
Ow.
you see this huge chunk fall onto Max, and you can't see her under the debris, the icy cloud that erupts from it. You're not sure where Maximil is.
She just turns and without a moment's notice, without making a sound, just blank face, just books to Max.
Okay.
Max, oh my god, where are
Max,
you?
make a Constitution saving throw to see if it knocked you unconscious too with the bludgeoning.
Sure.
Just from the weight of it crushing you immediately.
I'm gonna hurt my dice. That's a 10.
They show.
You say, Max, where are you? And you hear nothing.
And she just starts like looking around at the entrance. What does she see?
It's
Two
a
little horns sticking
giant
up.
pile of snow, that this hard packed snow that impacted her and then spilled out. So it's a huge mound of snow, and you can't see anything.
I can't see her.
This was like 25 to 30 feet of hard packed snow in a big cylinder that just opened up from the ceiling.
Okay. Yeah, she's gonna start just scooping frantically, very,
Roll
very.
2d20 for an emphasis roll. See how lucky you get.
Ooh.
A 1 and an
Ooh.
18.
Fuck.
Oofska.
Maximilian, make a Constitution saving throw. You are digging
Awesome.
and you can't find her. Like it's been about 6 seconds.
Okay, 17.
You like mouthful of snow. You're not sure which direction you're facing. You just know it's dark and cold, and you can feel the ice all around you.
Can I do... Is it possible to cast Shocking Grasp? So, like, if something touches my skin, it means that it gets shocked, but transmute it to fire to just burn off whatever's against me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good thing I didn't find her.
You cast Shocking Grasp as transmuted to fire through sorcery. You immediately melt the snow around you, and in the Arctic temperatures, it starts to solidify around you very quickly. Because the spell heats up, and then you're now with a pool of water freezing around you. But you get a little bit of orientation. You see where the flames go, and you're kind of facing down and to the right.
Okay.
So you know you can like dig that way, and you'll get out.
Okay. Then, let's not be stupid here.
Do we have any torches?
It's probably, but not lit.
Okay.
Atron's in the dream. Jaeger and Doran, you hear the crash, and then Soren looking through Astrid, you turn back and see Astrid's actually probably coming back around the loop because she went to the right, and Astrid's probably just passing Balin Tunnel and coming back as you see this massive pillar of ice and snowfall.
I'm going to use thaumaturgy to heat my hands and basically use that to try to dig in that direction, and just, although it will reform, I'm hoping that because I am thaumaturgying.
I dig that. Yep. Holding the thaumaturgy on your hands. You got hot mitts and you're pushing through.
Yeah.
And Isidore, something hot grabs your leg as you just like bump into Isidore's ankle as she's digging 90 degrees away from you.
Oh my god. You're alive.
Pull out
She grabs her by the hand and just yoink, like just pulls her out like a carrot.
There's the crunch of a sheet of ice crackling as you pull her out of it. The cold kind of digging in past that, even though the gear is cold resistant, nice wet frozenness. It's getting down to your skin and get a little frigid. Thaumaturgy yourself.
Max's laundry service.
She just cleans herself off immediately. You don't get an exhaustion or anything, but your legs.
I have a house.
She's just patting you down and it's just looking all over you for injury. It's like, oh my god, are you okay? Did you break anything? I was so scared I wasn't going to be able to find you. I thought you were going to die and it's going to be all my fault because I was the only person that was there inside. I couldn't find you.
Isadora, you did great. Max will grab Isadora's face and go, don't worry. I do stupid stuff all the time, and I am not skilled enough to get out of it unless I can talk my way out of it. So sometimes I get hurt, and it won't be your fault.
Okay.
Just peek my head in, seeing her like face gripping Isadora. I'm just like,
Are her hands still hot?
Your face is quite warm now. It's nice.
Meanwhile, Doran is like shoveling things in the pack, like, what's going on out there?
But my legs kind of hurt.
What do her legs look like?
They're bruised up. There's probably, a shard of ice cut one of the legs pretty badly, and she's got some blood and doesn't.
Okay, because when you said crunch, I thought her legs were out of service.
No, she can still walk. It hurt really bad.
Okay. Well,
like she's limping, but not to where like she had to run. She could run.
You wanna? I mean, I have a
dagger or something like that.
Why do you need a dagger?
I have one.
You have one. All right. Dig your way out. Don't. Melts.
I couldn't reach that. I just had my hands.
Oh.
Also, your first thought is sharp, stabby thing. My first thought is magic.
Fire.
So, like, nah. Instinct. Anyways, why would you booby trap a tavern?
Yeah, but what's the worst that we can do? Just drink all their beer? I mean,
I
left it.
You know what? Someone after the fact booby trapped this entire settlement. Probably. Oh, by the way, there's something fucking atrocious down one of those hallways. The Durgan tunnel. Probably fire-based. Might be a dragon. I don't fucking know.
Oh,
actually,
why would there be a dragon here?
Oh, fire. Shitloads of fire. The walls are scorched. There are minecart rails that are just absent, unlike the other tunnels that still have theirs. They're just old and rotted, but that one is just gone. So
is it normal?
Burnt.
is it normal for a fire dragon to just decide to live on the coldest, surface of this planet?
I don't know.
I mean, wouldn't a fire
Does that
dragon
sound natural?
want to hang out in like a warm place?
Yeah,
suppose,
that's what I'm
but-
thinking.
Could ask
The deeper you go,
guy
the
from
warmer
the
it gets, theoretically.
I mean, I doubt it's at its full strength, surrounded by the frigid cold. I mean, maybe we could lure it out and then use that to
Point
our
being-
advantage.
I don't want to lure it out. I don't want to fight it at all.
Oh,
It's more of a cautionary warning of, oh, hey, bad shit. Let's leave it alone.
Oh, are we not going down that tunnel to figure out what happened to the people here?
do you think that's what happened to the people? I really don't think they would have had the time to booby trap everything.
I'm sure there's something else here as well.
If it was a dragon that chased them all out, maybe he just like took up residence after he saw everyone was gone.
Maybe arsonist revolutionaries.
Sure, that. Just wander off.
I pointed my
you
finger.
want to check out the tavern?
All right.
Look, magic. I point at the lantern. See, magic.
If I pointed my finger in their direction, Ben, who would I hit with the 120 feet with message?
Any of them? They're just outside the building.
Well, I can't see them if I'm in the forge.
Oh,
So I'm pointing in their direction.
It is going to be Maximil.
Max, you just hear in your head, what in the fuck was that noise? And didn't I tell you this was trapped?
So that was me. I didn't actually hear anything about things being trapped. So sorry about that. That was me. Snow fell on top of me. It kind of hurt.
You okay?
Yeah.
This place is fucking booby trapped. Be careful.
Oh, thanks. I'll keep
Yep.
that in mind.
I shot it back. I thought we were playing the information ladder. My bad.
Oh, sorry. I headed straight to a house.
No response.
You do see in Dwarvish above the door, it says Oryx home away from home.
Oh.
And it's clearly a tavern. Well, you can kind of see above the door. There's a giant pile of snow in your way.
The dwarves are still here.
I'm gonna get into the tavern.
Dig for a bit with Isadora, like muscle your way through the hard pack and get
No. Picture this, okay? Isadora just like lat spreads and get as wide as possible, and then just walks
Trudges through
a
it.
solid path straight through the pile of snow with everyone just lined up behind her.
I was picturing Isadora picking Max up and using her horns as a shovel.
Jesus.
Throws her in.
Oh,
But yeah, she just walks through and is like, all right.
Thank you.
The path is cut through the door.
Wow. Man, it's pretty warm in here for it being an icy tundra.
Soren, you can see too, looking at the pack of snow up where the stone was cut out, and it fell open. Somebody had definitely rigged this up.
Okay.
But inside
Remember
Oryx home away from home, it's a small tavern. You have to stoop a little bit to fit into here because it's cut for dwarves and built for dwarves. Couple long tables, but plenty of dwarven ale back behind the bar. It looks like if they brought one thing out to the tundra, it was an abundance of booze.
Well, I know how we're getting warm. And just like starts
That's actually
breaking open a barrel.
Doesn't actually make you warmer. Just makes you feel warm while your blood constricts and you actually freeze faster.
Well, it doesn't matter because I'm dead.
Oh, right.
The interesting thing is looking around at the tavern, as you move your way back up to the cast. What catches you as weird is Isadora picks up one of the mugs to like get a drink and has to knock out the frozen ale. There's still about a quarter of a mug of ale there.
Ale
Looking at
That's weird.
Looking at some of the other
That's
glasses.
really weird.
a lot of them are left here with liquid in them.
She takes one of the chunks of the like she just held it upside down and it just kind of went and just broke into pieces. And she just kind of takes a piece and just starts like sucking on it, like crunching on it. Yeah, they
Popsicle.
I mean, not bad, honestly. Kind of odd that there's beer left in these mugs. Start pouring some.
Upstairs.
You go to the kegs and find that much like the lantern outside, there is some magical enchantment on them. It keeps the insides at a nice, about 50-ish degrees. It's a warmer lager, so they're not normal room temp of like 70 degrees or something like that, but they're a little bit warmer than the cold air outside, and there's still liquid inside the casks, so you can pour yourself a frothy mug of ale.
Oh yeah.
The casks are enchanted to keep the ale liquid. Isadora starts knocking
Downs it.
Max, you make your way upstairs. Well, there's hoarfrost in most places. This tavern wasn't, a tavern where people would stay the night, but it was more of the bar, the local bar. And upstairs would have been Oryx's residence.
Right.
But heading inside, as soon as you open the door, this is clearly a remodeled dwarven residence. As you open the door and find tattered maps meticulously detailing routes across the tundra, you see the desk is cluttered with journals and sketches. There's shelves with books in common written about survival and exploration guides. You see an old oil lamp that was clearly brought here. Its wick burned down to the end and there's nothing left in it. And there's almost like a lithograph, a magically taken photograph of what clearly must be Haverford Lindholm and an orc named Tusk. And it has a date from about 120 years ago. And it says arrival on Holderima.
Okay, so this was their little holdout.
Thanks, Idle Hands, for following us. And right there, guys, we're gonna take a break since we're a little ways in here. You guys just stumbled upon Haverford Lindholm's little hidey hole, where he stashed out for the adventures in Holderima, and we'll come back and see what they uncover in about 5 or 10 minutes here, folks. So thanks for jumping in and following us. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Dungeons and Dragons.
And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. So where we left off, Maddie and Maximiel and Maddie, Isadora, Maximiel, and Soren had made their way into Oryx's home away from home and found upstairs the secret. I just flicked myself in the eye with drink that had splattered out. Oh my god. And it's definitely got some burn to it because of what it's made of. Ow.
Just water.
Yeah.
That was a very dwarvish expression you had right there.
Spicy brown water. We were up in Oryx's home away from home. And in there we discovered the last holdouts of Haverford Lindholm. Doran and Jaeger had found Glacerium, a bar of glacial metal that they were making here in Farthorn. And Atron decided to try to commune with Caritas, the patron of dreams, his warlock, or their warlock patron, I apologize. And you find a quiet place along the edge of the wall, get your eyes closed, and oh, thanks for the bits, Mom. Much love. Gonna do the Sarah style love. I keep practicing
Can't do
it.
it.
It takes
Bad at it. I can,
No, it's Samsung. Not doing it.
Yeah, there.
Oh, there you go. Big Sarah love. Hey, you find yourself lifting off into the dream, and every time you visited the dream in Cyorion, you end up on this fuzzy little blanket. The quintessential textbook, like school textbook version of like what the atmosphere looks like, the kind of like hazy cloud layer, as you're looking at like a far distant photograph of like an earth cut, and it's like, here's where the ground is, here's where the atmosphere is. You're up on the floaty fuzzy layer, and you've always been able to like look down and see Cyorion below you. You haven't quite gone to the dream here yet, and out here it's weird. First, you feel incredibly far from Caritas. Like you can see, usually when you pop up into the dream, you're hanging out with her near the lavish sitting pillow dozing room that she calls, like, would essentially be her throne room, where she manages the dream and keeps the nightmare at bay. But here you walk the line. You can see this cloud-like structure of the dream extending and getting darker as it wraps around to the backside of Cyorion, the dark side of the planet. It does not face the sun. You can see in the far distance, like reflecting off of this blanket that gets grayer and darker and eventually turning black where the light does not reach. You can see in the distance nebula and stars twinkling where the light doesn't reach them, where previously in the dream during the daytime you'd be blinded by the sun, and still the lights of the moon at night would pretty much blind you from what else was out there. And you find yourself alone on this expanse and see Caritas walking to you from the distance. And up here you sense small wisps of dream, little tendrils that used to rain effortlessly across the Cyorion, reaching out to those that were sleeping and dreaming, connecting them to the dreamscape. Very thin threads here, very tiny pieces that reach out to whoever inhabits the cold, frigid wastes. But you have time as Caritas is making her way towards you. So what would you like to do while in the dream up here?
Does the air quality here, I mean, I know it's the dream, so it could be, I guess, whatever I imagine it to be, but does it feel thinner up here like it would if I was like high up on a mountain, or does that not matter at all?
It does feel thin here.
Okay.
And what terrifies you more is as you kind of look around at this thin atmosphere, and you can see the aurora borealis that kind of encircles the atmosphere at this place in Cyorion, this frozen cold ring. And you start to see faces forming in the auroras.
What are the quality of the faces? Do they have any sort of like an intention about them? Do they look curious, or do I sense any sort of malice?
You don't sense any malice from them. They appear to be ribbons of screaming faces, interluded and just woven into the natural auroras out here. It's about that time like Caritas, from where she was hundreds of miles away, is suddenly behind you, having approached you. And she puts a gentle hand on your shoulder. Don't worry about them. They're harbingers. Creatures trapped in the midst between our reality and whatever else is out there. They are living harbingers of terrible fates, but terrible fates always seem to be around the corner here. The nightmare always lurks, does it not, Shepard?
It does.
I want to make sure you guys get a chance to see what exactly these things look like.
Oh, fuck that.
I tell Caritas that I am currently in a place of ice and cold, and was simply trying to discern the fate of the community that we found ourselves in, and I'm not sure if she has any sort of if any of those dreams remain from the people that were there, or if there's anything that she can impart to me about it at all.
I was not here to witness these people's final moments. I did witness the dreams of Haverford, an explorer, and Tusk. I witnessed the dreams of the frost giants and their young who explore the frigid rime of the world. They're a studious bunch and wary of outsiders, but it's not them that you should be really worried about. She directs you to the darkened side of the world where you can't see. I know not from which the nightmare originates. I know that it is our duty to protect those that dream from the horrors of what the nightmare is. And I cannot reach that place, as she points out to the darkened side of the world, and tell you of anything of importance now, but know that something waits for you beyond this ice. And it is out there that terrible nightmares are being formed. And I urge you, Shepard, do not tarry too long in the vast antiquities of those that have come far before you. Their fate was their own. But use what you find to move quickly through this frozen wasteland. Get back to those that you can shepherd for me, and open the way to those that know not of my grace.
I ask her if she can point me in the direction that it is best for me to go, as far as it concerns leading those who need to be led.
She points to the wisps of dream, the very few of them that reach down to what looks like a small village. As you look with her, the world kind of grows slightly closer until you're almost to a bird's eye view. And you see, nestled at the base of a mountain, seemingly this large structure, a village of frost giants. They will lead you to where you need to be. It is them that you must ally yourselves with. I know that Haverford dreamed of introducing them to the rest of the world and had made some progress before he met an untimely fate.
I thank her and tell her that I will do my utmost best to do what she asks.
She pulls you close and you see briefly that you're not sure whether or not you two are working to keep the nightmare from reaching this place, or whether you are working with her to keep the nightmare from erupting from her. As she looks deep into your eyes, you carry with you now a relic that has claimed my previous pupils. Do not underestimate its power.
My hand instinctively goes to the hilt, and I promise her that I will do my best
As
not
you
to fail.
touch it, she lets go of you and you wake up holding it, and you say those words out loud, as if she threw you from that place when you touched that weapon.
Okay.
Huh.
But you awake and say those words out loud as the mind catches back up with the soul as it returns from the dream, and you realize that you've been sitting here talking out loud for a couple moments as Shatha and the rest of the group, who had been 60 feet or so behind, come in, weapons drawn, look to you, look at the giant pile of snow. Shatha, we heard a big crash and came to help. I'm assuming everything's okay. I don't see fighting.
Be careful. Be very wary. This entire place is booby-trapped.
Oh, well, she sees the one, like, spike trap, like, 15 feet from her. We will secure this immediate vicinity. Right here. But we'll stay here. And they kind of set up about a 15-foot perimeter and, like, put a couple guards back down the hallway and really just secure the entrance real good.
Do we actually have a physical map of this area? Does anybody? We do.
You do not, but
Who does?
Maximiel and Soren.
Awesome.
You two are looking through Haverford Lindholm's stuff. This is he's got some animal furs he's brought in here. He did not relight the forge, but there's old, tattered, hundreds-year-old, frost-ridden animal furs that have started to decay, but things don't decay very quickly in the cold, so they tend to stay nice and functional. But this room has remnants of where little fires were built. You can see the chimney that was up here has been rerouted to accept smoke coming out of this particular room, and Haverford basically got himself set up in here in this person's little home. There's a second bed that's made perfectly, whereas Haverford's, the main bed with most of the furs on it, seems to be pretty well used and not made. The other one's got a wool blanket on it, just one single wool blanket, and then a folded animal leather and what looks like large rusted scimitar just kind of laid at the end of the bed, and it's made perfectly. And there's a necklace on the pillow with a single tusk on it.
Interesting.
But the rest of the suite,
Isadora, sorry.
the rest of the suite seems to be pretty battered and is in, this is a little bit like Jaeger with the map and like the strings and stuff. He's a little disorganized, but he's got notes everywhere. This person had a lot of information. And Isadora does something.
She busts into the room with 2 fresh mugs and a third one kind of squeezed up against her and is like, all right, guys, more weird. The beer is like way like it's like unnaturally warm. Like, it's not hot, but like there's something in those kegs that's like keeping it real nice. She hands it to each of them.
The magic photograph, like there's a lot of weird things here. Yeah.
And you've seen like these look like old copper acid etched photographs, you know, like lithographs and stuff like that. That, you know, people could permanently make photographs with a wizard. You know, they could keep pictures of their family and stuff, and these guys had one made of them as they were sitting off onto Holderima.
Also, what do we think? Dream trapped? No trapped? Not trapped, right?
The dream? Oh, dream is totally trapped. I saw the vote go up when I was in the middle of my stuff.
Baltrin is going to do his best to find Soren and Max.
Sure. I mean, you kind of saw where they all went off to, and have an inkling of where they were at, but yeah. You, Jaeger and Doran, you kind of hear the rest of Shatha's group kind of pile in as you guys are finishing stocking up on Glacium bars. Or Glycerium, sorry. Are we all convening over at the tavern? What are you guys getting up to?
Sarah, you muted?
Max would like to flip open the closest journal to her and open it up to the very end, like towards the end where there's writing, the last few pages of writing.
There is a journal open on the desk that has the ink quill and the inkwell that's now frigid, but the quill is underneath what must have been his signature that he signed in large print, the entire right page. It's open to his last entry.
Awesome. I read.
Right.
What's it say?
It's dated. It says sometime in Venetus of the year 49 LB.
Okay.
How long ago was that?
103 years ago.
103 years.
This would have been right around the fall of Buraz that he and Tusk came out here.
43 LB?
49.
49 LB.
49 LB. With Tusk gone, I've been working hard to ingratiate myself to the Frost Giants. It's been difficult surviving on my own out here. I've tried to make inroads. I've hunted animals as far north as must be 200 miles. But the cold is coming back. The hot season here is ending, and I don't want to leave the safety of Farthorn and look for other shelter to the south and chase the sun. I feel I'd be risking myself. So I'm going to the place where they took Tusk. Those creatures, the Remoras. I hope that if I lie there and wait, I can impress the Frost Giants and hunt one alongside them. And if successful, maybe they'll take me in. I don't know how much longer I should stay here. A few times that I've spoken to the Frost Giants briefly, they laugh when I tell them I'm staying at Farthorn and their broken common. They send their hand signals to each other, and hearty laughs come from behind great leather face masks and beards. The Markerdons almost laugh with them. I swear that haunting laughter as they stalk me across the ice will be carried with me to my grave. If there is a personal hell, it will be filled with the laughter of Markerdons chasing things across the ice. But, alas, the geothermal lake is a fine hunting ground. I can survive there on the fresh fish if I stay quiet and not move too much. I'll try my best to stay out of sight, and if I see the Frost Giants attack, I will join in. If you found this and I haven't returned, I was either successful or I am Remora's scat somewhere along this hellish glacier. Best of luck to you, explorer. May my spirit help guide you through this hellscape. Signed, Haverford Lindholm.
Oh.
You can see the maps nearby. There's sprawling out from Farthorn trails along the ridges that he followed and explored, moving out to check out all the different places that existed, spidering out as best as he could from Farthorn. But the place that he's heading to is down the ridge and to the west.
Looking at the map, does it match close to what I saw from the bird's eye view?
What you spotted from the bird's eye view was a city much further out, but it was further west, all the way out.
Does he detail anything about potential dangers in Farthorn, or if he ever figured out like why they laughed when he stayed there?
There's a lot of information here. Like, there's just tons of journals and notes. It would take some time to read through them all to see if there was any information on it, but you can do an insight check and do a quick scan if you want to. If you get lucky.
I would like to gather up all the stuff if we can.
Yeah.
And can I help him with that? I specifically went to look for things involving the Durgan Tunnel, if he has any maps of Farthorn.
Go ahead and
12 plus 10, 22.
22, and you get it at advantage since Maximil's aiding you.
Wait. 22.
22. Okay. Yeah, with the 22, you flip to some of the early entries when he first arrived at Farthorn. He talks about going down the Durgan Tunnel, having identified the damage done to it as likely fire breath from some sort of dragon. He often postulated that boreal dragons could have migrated here.
Interesting.
Strange blue and cloud dragon hybrids that existed along the edge of the world, living in the Arctic places. He had heard tales of Galilean Goliaths when he spent time with them, talking about the boreal dragons being some of the most feared hunters, and that they would never try to, they respected them too much to face them, but they would see boreal dragons pick up entire Markerdons in one claw. They are the apex predator of the frigid north. And it talks about two possibilities. He says that a little bit further in, he says that there are a couple apex predators out here, that he managed to speak with one of the frost giants briefly. They told him about a Kutvada, which I will put into chat for you because of course I can't say it. I'm gonna just put it in Twitch chat, but a Kutvada is the frost giants told him a story of a Kutvada, this mythological Remoraz. The prize trophy Remoraz hunt would be to bring down a Kutvada, who is supposedly hundreds of years old and is the mother of all Remorazes.
Okay, that's the big one.
He also told stories of Graknork, a terror of the frigid waste.
That's a Markerdon.
He drew, as they described it, what looked like a icy scaled salamander that they described as being able to consume frost giants almost whole.
Okay. Wait, it was a what?
It looked like, his picture is this sketch of what looks like a large icy salamander, but it would hunt.
Oh.
It was the largest apex flame predator that even the Remoraz talked about. And Graknork, supposedly there are a few of them that live along Holderima, but they prefer the frigid season. They prefer the cold season. But then he describes a couple, very large apex predators, but besides that, wild Markerdons, Remoraz, mammoths, there are polar bears, there are plenty of creatures up here. And in parts that you see as you scan through, he talks about, observing penguins along the coast and watching polar bears hunt them, and following herds of caribou as they move through the summer months.
So, this cloud/blue boreal dragon.
Probably down that tunnel. We should definitely not go that way. Follow whatever
Yeah.
this trail is that he set up for himself.
But hear me out. Clouds are similar to storms. Some of us are blue and can shoot lightning. What if that's my great-grandfather?
Is that something you want to risk if it is not friendly?
Jaeger and Doran, real quick, did you guys come back to meet the group, or are you still collecting stuff, really? I don't know if you caught up with everybody else.
No, I'll still be exploring the forge. I don't feel
Yeah.
like traversing back over an ice pit to potentially fall into the ice pit.
Sure. So
And
Botchard
die with
and
ice snakes.
Isadora are there with you, too, as you guys are digging through this information.
Well,
I try to impress upon Max and Soren what I experienced in my walk, my dream walk, and I try to point in the direction of where I think that frost giant village is on the map, and tell them that we really can't tarry here too long, and we need to ally ourselves with the giants. That is what's best for our struggle. If we don't, it could be very rough for us if we do not forge an alliance with those beings, the giants.
Lindholm seems to agree.
well, what about if we also forge an alliance with the dragon? I mean, that would be helpful. You say, what if the worst thing happens? What if the best thing happens? What if it's friendly?
I mean, maybe.
Max,
but it's an
at the end of the
unnecessary
day-
risk.
You might have to pick between ice giant or fire dragon,
It's possible that the dragon could impress the giants. It's also possible that the dragon could terrify them.
Yeah.
And he talks about how they laughed at him when he described how he was staying here. What if that means that they understood staying here meant certain death for him? Like, haha, you fool, how could you think to live in the lair of such a terrible creature? Something like that. I don't know, but
Yes.
It could be less complex than that. They could have just laughed because puny human,
I suppose.
probably didn't matter where he was staying. It was just the fact that he was there, probably. Had a little faith in him being able to survive. Probably looked at him like a drain on resources or a waste of time.
I think my point still stands, though, that Bartran is right. This journal is right. We need to find the people who actually know their way around here. Or we could go find this dragon potentially down this hallway. Maybe it's friendly, maybe it's not. But
The
it's
giants seem to be impressed by deeds of bravery and courage, and not sure if what the explorer did was brave and courageous to them, but I don't know. Again, I'm sort of on the fence with Max. I mean, the dragon could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. But it would, either way, it's going to be an impressive feat to a culture that seems to revere that kind of
all right, shall we vote
action.
again?
I mean, they
So
hunt the
how does
remora.
one kill a dragon? How hard is it? Have any of you killed a dragon before?
No, thankfully
We've
we haven't
befriended a
had to.
couple.
We almost had to fight a dragon, and then we ended up, she ended up talking it out of a battle frenzy and into being our friend. It actually turned the tides quite magnificently. All right, fine. Let's vote. I think this might actually be a solid
All
enough
right.
plan to entertain.
Where's the third?
I seduced a dragon.
With friendship.
Platonically.
A platonic seduction.
Yeah. Anyone could.
Okay. Well, you guys all got to go back and find Jaeger and Doran, who, as you guys continue
Yeah.
to load stuff up, Are you just staying in the forge, or still kind of looking at everything, reading through the book?
Sufficiently reading through the book. I feel like there's nothing like secret or hidden in it that I could see from the first glance. Just looking throughout the room, seeing if there's a path downward. But really just exploring the forge a little bit more.
Yeah, there's cart path that leads to the back of it, where they would bring in raw material that would go to the sorting room across the street, and then they would cart it over to here. So there was some people across the street, their job was sorting raw ores and breaking it down and like getting the best stuff, like best chunks over, so there'd be the least amount of slag, trying to separate the ores if there's any veins running close to each other. So there was the crushing, that would be the crushing room across the street, and then heading the other direction, out the other back door, would be going right across to the forge, to the blacksmith, getting him additional materials that he needs to work for repairs, to build tools, things like that. And then that's where also the stack of like 500 glycerium bars are. But inside here, there's plenty of, I mean, his tools are pretty much, falling apart with age. The wood's starting to dry rot on him, but everything else is in pretty decent shape in here. It's just all shut down.
And the blacksmith's actual like area is in perception range, like we can see into it, like there's no like gleaming weapons or anything.
You can see it. There's some stuff sitting out, but you can't really see what's in there until you go over there.
Yeah, then I'll to Doran. Hey, you wanna go check, because like they're making I guess armor and weapons. I mean, the closest thing that I can think of is the blacksmith area that we can maybe get lucky.
Yeah, sure, why not? And Doran is like carrying the glycerium just like this, like, we need to find Maximil at some point too, so I can dump this off.
I mean, you put it in my bag if you want to.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah, just probably getting cold. Yeah, I'll just throw it in my bag.
Okay.
Yes, carefully, stealthily checking for trapolese. Walking over there.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
Make an investigation check then.
Investigation, and it's terrible. It is a 9.
And what is your passive perception?
20.
Mine was a 16.
There are mostly unfinished blades in here, and weapons. There's some armor made out of these things, like some chest pieces that appear dwarven in size, but they are in various states of disrepair. And unfortunately, the forge kind of gets close to the Durgan tunnel, and the backside of this forge is melted out.
Oh.
So this is Blackfish shop. It was right in the path towards that tunnel.
It is a hot breathing dragon.
Did not do very well. However, whatever caused this damage, Doran, you've seen this type of stone shaping before from pure melt when a dragon gets very pissed. And your passive perception lets you know that, on one of the weapons that's seems to be in pretty decent shape. It's actually got a piece of wood that's kind of like holding it up and makes it look like it's a nice little hammer, but it's just the head of it is forged. The wood was added much more recently, and it is wired up to a frozen clamp that's basically a bear trap. That if you touch the hammer, it would clamp down on your arm. And it's the only appealing piece of equipment in here. Everything else is in various states of disrepair and age and melted by magical dragon fire, possibly, or other creature fire.
Do I want Thor's hammer or not?
Poke the bear.
Bear trap.
Get a big stick. Get a big stick and poke it.
I'll
From like 10 feet away.
Through just like
him.
laughing. Yeah, just laughing. Yeah, you ever see this like incineration happen where it just like melts the face off of the planet?
I mean, it's more common than you think if you piss off a dragon, yeah?
Yeah, I don't want to necessarily fuck around with that thing and find out. But there is There's something on the wall there. Let me see if I can do this. I'm gonna grab. See, gonna just grab my bundle of rope, chuck it at the bear trap, see if that triggers it.
Sure. Just roll a d20. Roll an emphasis check as you yeet the rope.
7 and a 15.
So great success. You throw the rope and the clamp goes, smashes shut, breaks the hammer haft. And you can see as soon as the vibration hits it, the head was placed on there to make it look like a whole hammer, but it just kind of goes clunk and falls off the end. So there's a glacium hammer head, but it's not attached to a weapon at all. So it's not forged at all. It's not a functioning weapon. And the snap trap slaps shut and completely breaks the 1.5 inch diameter dowel that was being held up in place there. Probably would have just busted right through your bone, and you have to kind of wrench your rope out of it a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I'll get that out. Well, I've got a hammerhead. Don't know.
It's effectively another Cyorion ingot.
Oh, nice. Throw that in the bag too. I thought it was the hammer they were forging it all with, and that could be super special Thor, but I guess it's just another.
There's a bunch of Glycerium slag laying around.
I had hope for a dwarven thrower.
Jaeger ends his days in an icy cave.
Is there like small bits and pieces of the glacium that I can pick up?
Yeah, there's little pieces of Glycerium around.
Yeah, I just want
Not
itty bitty
like
pieces.
Not like, well, I mean, you could, blunderbuss it through your gut if you really wanted to, or carve it off there, I guess, or try to mess with it.
How about stuff it in a bomb and throw it at somebody?
Souvenir.
There is.
I just want cool magic metal souvenir.
Because technically that's how I prime my bombs, is stuff things into them and hope they explode.
There are two kinds of people.
There's
People who
enough.
make cool things into jewelry and cool things into bombs.
There's enough Glycerium to add 3d6 cold damage to 2 bombs.
2 bombs, let's do it.
So
Take my cool
Glycerium
little necklace
fragments.
idea and turn it into a bomb.
Glycerium fragments for 2 bombs, and then like enough that would totally not work for a bomb, but could be put into like some cool necklace fragments or something if you wanted to make a neat trinket.
Sweet.
So if you utilize those in a bomb, it'll add 3d6 cold damage.
Awesome. Okay. Then that is it.
But you hear the snap echoing as you're like picking up
Yeah,
all
great.
these little pieces. And you can see the mine shaft tunnel below you, or out the back of the forge. And you could just, it just goes out to nothingness. And then the entirety of the town fills with just a rumbling echo in the distance.
Oh dear, that is not good.
I think we pissed off a dragon.
Yeah, I think so. I think we better maybe find the others really quick.
Do we all hear that too?
The entire cavern fills with that noise.
Ooh,
That's a dragon. That's the dragon. That's a fucking dragon.
is it a dragon? Does it sound like a dragon, DM?
I mean, honestly,
is
it could be some
distant
kind
and
of
rumbling,
lizard.
and you have no idea what it is.
Could it,
It
be
could be. It could be
Ramorax?
anything.
Could be a lot of things. You can make a nature check.
Mhm.
I'm not proficient in nature.
And Doran, you can make a history check at
Cool.
advantage.
It's a dragon.
At advantage.
Rondoinum never made a noise like that.
Mud.
Nature?
Nice.
Well,
20.
the first one's a nat 20.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yeah, nature. 5. Yeah, big something scary. You're not sure what.
I'm gonna cast mage
Maybe it's
armor on
friendly.
myself.
Doran, you have herd of exiled dragons that were so violently powerful and hostile that they chose to prove themselves the greatest among all dragons, and from them, boreal dragons emerged. And they scour Olderima. They are the nightmarish horror story that was told to you by not only family members, but former masters, that if you were to ever upset them, they would offer you up as sacrifice to the great boreal dragons. Primal monsters that did not fit within the structured politics of good dragon ruling. These things were beasts not to be trifled with. They do not care for reason. They are pure hunters and fiercely territorial.
We need to get everyone. We need to get out of here right now.
You
No,
suddenly
maybe
turned
it's
white.
Family.
Let's go.
Say again, Jaeger.
I was like, you suddenly turned a little white.
We need to grab everyone and get the hell out of here right now. This is very, very bad. This is not anything we want to mess with. This is something I think even beyond the ability of Max to reason with. We need to get that hell out of here now.
All
right.
You hear steam releasing from volcanic fissures deep beneath the crust, and you can hear the forge start to reactivate as it starts to warm up.
I fucking knew it. It's the forge.
The forge starts to reactivate, but the cold blast that comes out from that hall drops the ambient temperature in here a noticeable 15 to 20 degrees. And Shaltha from the entrance, what the fuck?
There we go.
Hey, guys.
While they're all
There's a
standing around, they
dragon.
see Jaeger and Doran running. Just nope.
Hey,
No?
guys! If they're running, I think we should all be running too, right?
go,
Like,
go,
get the
run,
dogs.
run.
Like, get the dogs. That was kind of like an earth-shaking rumble, not like a fightable. We could probably do this kind of rumble. So why don't we
Just
like?
start running
Okay, we're
back
running.
towards the entrance.
We took those maps off the wall, right?
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah,
grabbed
we grabbed
whatever
everything.
you could, and you hear a massive roar and exhale of breath as you glance over your shoulder, and you see the stone melting on the backside of the cave. As what is 13 fire damage do? 81 fire damage to the back of the cave as it starts to just melt out pieces of it. And you
I think
hear
Max is in love.
you hear things start to crash and crumble. Need everybody to make a DC 18 wisdom saving throw.
Oh, good lord.
Wisdom save.
May I ask?
I'm gonna use my inspiration to
It is not
reroll
a-
that.
Not a legendary action. It is just the fact that you are near this thing.
No.
Yeah, I think I failed that with an 11.
Is this a charm?
Is this? Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is if this was
not
like?
a charm effect, this is a frighten effect.
Got it.
Oh, okay.
19.
So anybody who did not get an 18 or higher becomes frightened, which you cannot willingly move closer to the source of your fear. There's something
Don't want
big
to.
and fucking scary behind you.
Yeah, we're leaving.
Let's go faster.
Marines, we are leaving.
As we're running, I'm going to cast invisibility. I want to be the last one out. I want to get a look at this thing and make sure it is not going to follow us up the tunnel.
Are we sure it's not friendly?
Max says as an ancient boreal dragon bursts out of the back of this of the room. I'm going to show the battle map really fast just 'cause I think I showed it to everybody.
Is it a map?
I've just got it
Oh.
up for the stream to see.
Oh.
Another wonderful entry from Kobold Press's Tome of Beasts. Boreal dragons are fucking horrifying.
Where? Where is
I
this?
just- I did-
It's on the
I
battle
was
map.
just
It's
showing it
on
to the
the.
stream.
Ooh.
Where's the pedal map?
Ooh.
It's the game. It should have popped up for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuzzy.
Did not.
You don't see a picture?
It lives in the worst place in the world.
I saw the picture of the dragon.
That's what
Yeah,
it was. It was
that's
just a
what it
picture of
is.
the dragon.
Oh, I thought there was a map.
That's the dragon.
Just showing
When
that.
we say battle map, we mean the travel map.
I'm
Yeah,
showing
this
it
is
to the
technically
stream.
battle map.
Correct.
Just showing big scary.
And fuzzy.
Yeah, big friendly and melted the entire freaking
You get a-
back
half of the
forest.
city.
You
Yeah.
get a look at it as it starts to break in and rage and just start to tear this place to shreds.
It doesn't look like it knows
I
we're
can fix
like,
him.
like where we are, though, right?
You can
As we're
fix
escaping.
it. All right, Max has inspiration. If he doesn't use it this session, gets to use it on the next one. I can fix him of a dragon.
Isadora just takes one look at Max and is like, "No, you can't." There's no thoughts behind that growl. He just wants to rage, and we're going to let him and be far away from here.
No, he does not seem to know that you were there, but he is violently thrashing and destroying, just trying to find whatever made noise here.
All right, last one out. I'm just gonna kind of then book it. And who's at the back?
Who's at the back? You guys?
of the escaping trail of people.
Maximil
Probably
going.
Max.
Isadora grabbing Maximil by the hand, dragging her, and Max going, I can fix him.
Yeah.
I want to like scare Max because I'm invisible and I'm running up behind her.
He's
Oh.
invisible. Rude.
What?
Just
She like literally
Hellish
like a
rebuke. No, I'm
cartoon
kidding.
like jumps in the air into her arms.
Zoinks!
It's definitely it's a full-on Scooby Gang moment. The legs circling
Yeah.
in midair as we run.
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
You all
nothing's
bust
fucking
out
evil. Let's go.
of you run for about a quarter mile back uphill, and after you can hear it rampaging for the entire time you were back there. You guys get outside. Are you following? Where are you following the map? Like, where are you going as you get outside? Are you trying to follow the map towards where the Ramora's hunting ground is, where he went last?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You start booking to the southwest, and as you're leaving, you hear the rage begin to subside. You look back and you see the massive form of this boreal dragon take off into the distance north, circling around, looking for whatever was angering it, but it doesn't seem to pick up on you all. And a moment later, you see it swoop down in the distance, and an entire adult Markradon is picked up in its one claw.
Max's eyes are just big old hearts.
Yeah.
Like Max is just like on like Isadora's shoulder, just like watching as she's just like
Grandpa.
like
Hap?
puppy.
Grandpappy, is that you?
Jeez.
Don't look at me like that.
Not
Doran's
every
like, I think
dragon
I
is
just saw my
family.
ancestors.
Yeah, not every dragon is family, Maximil.
Not with that attitude. That's just because they haven't become my family yet.
Maribel's running by. Listen, sweetheart, sorry, there's some shots you just shouldn't shoot. Like that one, you couldn't fall out of a boat and hit water with that shot. Just get fucking running, girl.
Oh, Jesus.
All right.
That is not a rational creature. That is a monster.
You guys continue traveling for 8 days, another week,
Jesus.
to make it down the ridge of that mountain.
Does it pop out again at any point, or is it just that one surfacing and then nothing?
As you were heading down the mountain, you see it dive back to where it came out, wherever its entrance back to its lair was.
Okay.
As we're traveling, Max would like to read the journals and look at the sketches and pore over the maps, just see everything that she can learn about this place, possibly any hints about where Iman may be lurking.
I would like to also help and see if I could find anything specifically about his notes or Tusk's notes on the ice giants, or the frost giants.
You find that it was difficult for them to become friendly with the frost giants, mostly because they were strangers here. You know, the frost giants were wary of them. they weren't outright hostile, but hunting parties would do their hunts, and he describes times where they would walk towards them, arms out peacefully, trying to discuss things with them and make contact. But he describes the frost giants as very efficient, very deliberate about the things that they were doing. He would described it as animals conserving energy, only making the most necessary of movements, not talking and using hand signals, and their faces almost fully covered while they're out in the snow, trying to maintain hidden breath, keep it so that they blended into their surroundings using white animal skins packed with hard snow. And they mostly spoke to each other with hand gestures rather than actually communicating. He says, the few that he talked to said there were a couple frost giant cities that, should they become friendly enough, that they would invite them to. But it was hard. They don't accept outsiders. It's deadly on the tundra to accept outsiders, as they're usually looking to get a cheap meal. The Markradons that they would raise to assist them in hunting, 1 in every 10 would be tameable. The rest would have to be released to the wild, because they would just want to attack and eat whatever was available to them. In terms of where Imana may be, he talks briefly about a port that the giant referenced. He wasn't sure where Nepen Port was, but he said that the giants will sometimes travel there for more information or for interesting news. It's Neppin is how he spelled it, Nepen Port.
So they'd go there for information.
They would
wow,
trade.
That's my face.
They would trade with people. But he said that the frost giants said they trade with other outsiders there. But they trusted them at Nepen Port a little more. And then when Preston asked how they could become friendly like those in Nepen Port, he said that those from Nepen Port never came to their cities.
So do we want to... Oh, sorry, continue.
The town that I needed to make sure I had my pronunciation right for this stupid ice giant town name, but Kolvagstuden is the name of the town that he referred to that's on the ice. I'm going to type that out for you.
Thank you.
He said that he would occasionally see them, and they had told them about this Remoraz hunting ground and advised him to stay away from it. So he did. He explored other ways to try to ingratiate himself to them. And this was kind of the last-ditch effort. But that's pretty much what you find out. I mean, he and Tusk was taken. They had tracked a Remoraz, and it led them into a trap near the nest, and multiple Remorazes attacked, and Tusk saved Haverford's life, and Haverford got out of there. And that was about 4 years before the final entry.
So 97 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I would have also wanted to have taken the little, because you said there was a bed with the scimitar and then the little tusk necklace.
Mm-hmm.
I would have wanted to take the little tusk.
Okay. Yep. You've got it. It's a broken orc tusk on a necklace.
Cool.
That if you look at the picture, tusk has a single tusk and then a broken tooth. Cool. It's capped off with metal on the other side.
Isadora comes to Soren and is like, how old would you guesstimate that thing is?
Well, if my math is right, just shy of 100 years. Older than me. Not
Were you around that time?
Sorry.
How old are you?
Old.
Well, I mean, so am I.
This makes... This will be 111. I'm 110 now.
No way.
What, similar?
I'm older than you.
That makes sense. You were dead for a while.
No. My death was quick.
Well, then you just popped right back up.
My family was a part of the elves that escaped through the underground routes to get away from.
Wait, how old are you?
I am 125 this year.
You've definitely aged more gracefully than I am, afraid.
Yeah, honestly, I think that has a bit to do with my dad and where he came from, but honestly, I wish I knew more about it. Kind of don't know a lot about my family history because of, constantly running.
If it's of any comfort, I didn't even know my father. He was presumably human, but I don't know. I never asked my mother.
Yeah, it was my mother. She was the human. She was awesome. She knew the guy who started the association, and originally it was to help, the escaping elves. Or at least that's what she told me.
Curious.
Yeah. Interesting.
Why do you ask?
I don't know. It's kind of a weird habit, but like once you start raking in the years, you just kind of want to get a perspective of like, I can't help but think about what I was doing at that time, like it's only about 100 years, those are my early days, I got to think about like, what was I doing? Very interesting. Like you almost wonder like, did I just happen to meet this person at some point in my life? Is this ancient history or
I'm
did I actually like
certain I didn't meet this man?
I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it too.
Unless
Makes
he was
you think.
in the habit of surviving on moldy bread and cooked rats in his off season from exploring.
That's interesting. I gotta go look back at my notes because I might have been in Busat when you were a kid.
Be unlikely, but that would be interesting.
Yeah, I spent a good amount of time in there. Just kind of getting my feet wet.
Ben, would that ring as like something like would I remember interactions with the organization from childhood of them?
Yeah, they
helping at all?
They helped ferry food and supplies to the underground.
Can I have this brief moment of like staring off into space for a second? That would be funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, right.
Well, either way, I'm glad we know each other now.
Yeah, me too. Wish I remembered things better. It's not really,
Forget the unimportant things.
Oh, I've been forgetful my whole life. It's not got nothing to do with age. I'm big and strong, not big and smart.
We all have our strengths.
All right. Any other conversations as you all lead the Boreal Dragon at Farthorn and make your way towards this Remora's nest? Hopes that you'll find frost giants out there.
On at least one of the nights when we're trekking out that way, I want to see if I can determine as best as I can if some of those threads that I saw were in fact frost giant dreams. To try to see if I
Make an
can't.
insight check, yeah.
So 14.
You do spend some time in the dream and find yourself within 2 days. You see probably about a day's march out the other side. There's a single dream thread floating up to the dream as you sit above it. As you kind of pull on it a little bit and attach yourself to it so you can witness the dream. It seems like an adolescent boy's dream, excitedly hunting something. And it's quickly turns to nightmare briefly as he starts to lose this great hunt against the Remoras. But then a companion of his comes to his rescue. And he and this companion overtake the entity together, this Remoras, this creature that they were hunting, and they slay it, and he returns home a man.
Is there any symbology that I can lock onto, or are there any sort of like spoken terms that I might be able to use if I ever come face to face with one of these giants, that I might be able to like recreate or emulate in any way?
This dream, unfortunately, is focused almost entirely on the emotions of fear and anticipation and trying to find the bravery within that nightmare hellscape of fear that you might lose your life.
Okay, so when they actually triumphed over the thing, did they do like a blooding ceremony? Did they do anything like that, or not? Did it just was it too fuzzy to determine anything?
Yeah, with a 14, It's a little bit too fuzzy for you. You get the details that you got, but unfortunately, it's a little too fuzzy for picking up actually anything else.
Yeah, I mean, that just solidifies for me that this is a culture that really reveres triumphing over adversity. So, yeah.
Okay. Any last minute things as you guys make your way towards this basin and this geothermal lake on your map? Yes, Max.
Max is gonna try to call Irene again because she didn't answer last time, and Max is worried, sick.
Okay. What do you say?
Hi, Irene. It's me again. Are you okay? You didn't answer me last time, and I'm a little worried about you. Just give me some sign that you're okay, please. Hugs and kisses.
You hear back. That is really sweet. I'm in a lot of pain. I was probably unconscious. Don't worry. I'm fine. Things are going well. All my love.
Another setting. What happened? Are you okay? What? Do you need help? What's going on? Ah! All my love.
It was only a minor stabbing. It's not the first time. I'll be just fine.
Max is just gonna glance over to the party and go, it's just a minor stabbing. Oh, she sounds like one of us. Just a minor stabbing.
How would she feel knowing that you wanted to go talk to a boreal dragon?
She doesn't need to know about that now, does she?
Ah, yes, the good hallmark of starting off a relationship on a bunch of lies. Yes, this will work out well.
Oh, it's not a bunch of lies, and besides, the dragon was probably friendly. I mean, if your rude people in the north
Max,
were like, ooh,
you would have been a
Portland-
very light snack, and I'm talking a crumb. I'm saying
Yeah,
that
not even a
dragon.
snack. It would have
That
been like
dragon would have scooped us all up like a handful of popcorn and just down the hatch. Like that was no thoughts behind those eyes, just terror and rage.
Jaeger would be more like Pop Rocks, but yeah.
I'm going out with a bang.
That would be some very serious heartburn, I think, for that dragon.
And honestly, I think I've crawled my way / fought my way out of the belly of a monster one too many times on this adventure. So I think it was a good idea. I think it was a wonderful idea that you didn't make a new friend today or a week ago. Sorry, Max.
Zoe's the next one, right?
Yeah. Dragons are friends. And
Not all of
we
them.
are not.
There's some dragons are friends.
Yes,
They
but again, the dragons in Udaland, who are, bitches, if they don't like a dragon, I like that dragon. So maybe the boreal dragon is just misunderstood because of the bad stereotypes put forth by the Udalandian dragons.
Maximil, if the dragon was expelled from Utland, it was because it was even too violent and extreme for those dragons, not because it was too nice.
They kill the nice ones, remember?
Yeah, I know. There was hope,
Yeah, who knows? Maybe that one under the mountain has some test subjects that it's also instilling its blood into to make magical beings.
Just
Like
look
the
over at
other
Thorn. Just with that
evil-
look of like, please tell me that is not possible.
I'll shoot back the look of like, no, that thing is a mindless killer. It would just eat people.
but that would be really interesting.
Do you want to go back and go take a look?
No.
Go ask him.
It's probably just going to stab you a little bit,
Minor stabbing.
Minor stab.
Minor stabbing.
With its
Like
enormous fangs
Irene.
and claws and giant crushing tail and
All right. So are we continuing to the nest now?
Yes, if we think that that's the best way to go after reading the notes and learning that frost giants don't really like it when people just waltz into their cities.
Yep. That's definitely the best.
Wait, the nest is the city? I thought it was like where
No,
all
the nest is like their hunting grounds.
Yeah,
Oh, we're going to
that's
the
what
nest.
I thought.
Okay.
That's what I thought. Yeah, we're going to the hunting grounds to prove ourselves, basically.
yeah, the proving grounds.
Kill a Microdon or 7.
Well, no,
Yeah.
we're killing a
Remoras.
Remoras.
Killing Remoras.
Okay. Well, in that case, you guys arrive early the next morning. Shatha says that she'll keep a watch on camp, but it's probably not best to be marching in with a huge troop, based on what she had read and borrowed from the notes that Haverford had left as she was doing her bits of research too. Remoras sense their prey by footsteps, so a large army moving in would be a bad idea, and advises a lot of you to go in stealthily and try to catch them unaware.
Okay.
We walk without rhythm.
Okay. I'm not. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm probably gonna be the least stealthy
That
and
was
ruin it for all of us.
mission preparing spells. I have I can't brain right now. Pass without trace
Pass.
as we're sneaking in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm gonna go ahead and switch us over here.
Ooh.
There he is, our prey.
Oh dear.
You all
Oh, that is
make
ugly.
your way to this large valley.
Is anything home?
As Pass Without a Trace is going, you manage to sneak up this hillside on the western side of the entrance and you see a Remoraz, this large, spiny-looking creature, with a bead of what looks like hot blades coming off of the back of its spine. I'll show its portrait so you guys can see.
Ugh.
Enjoying a meal. It's caught something out of the nearby glacial or the geothermal lake to the south, and you watch as it's finishing off the last pieces of this meal.
Can we tell what it was? Like, does it look like it was a fish or a humanoid shape or a...
Looks like some large fish shape, almost like a grouper or something.
Okay.
Well, at least we know that if it attacks us, it's not looking to eat something. It's just defending itself, right? Does
I would not
sound like a...
operate on that assumption.
Does that? I mean, I'm trying to think positively here.
Just shoot it.
As you're discussing what you should do and what it might be doing, Jaeger, with a 20 perception, you see the snow shifting along a path directly towards it.
Oh.
Something's approaching the Remoraz.
Mark it on.
Can I roll for perception?
This is passive perception because this happens
Oh.
quickly. As from the snow, covered completely in its camouflage and striking in unison with the great Markradon that leaps out and tackles the Remoraz, is a frost giant with a huge spear in hand, as the two of them descend upon this creature and attack it viciously. It's over in moments. As they breathe a quick sigh of relief, it holds up its spear and turns back. And you all watch as a larger frost giant descends from the cliffs beside it.
Big guy.
He nods and they exchange hand signals as the Markradon is tearing into the Remoraz. But he stops suddenly. And Jaeger, you feel the ground begin to rumble. Another
big one.
smaller Remoraz bursts out from the ice, and a large adult Remoraz erupts as well. The frost giant readies its spear, looks to them, and then you all hear it signal something and grunt and looks in your direction and kind of points to the lot of you.
They can see us?
He can.
Oh.
she grabs her hand and pulls it down.
My wasted bastard.
He actually rolled a really good perception. But he spots one of you, and you see the Remoraz start to tremble slightly, as from the distance you hear just a terrible guttural noise. Drawn by all the attention is the horrifying, massive form of a Graknork, as this turns into a massive battle royale inside of the pit of this place that we will come back to next week, as you guys have to fight this all.
Man.
Fun.
And I want to make sure to share these guys too, because they are freaking awesome. Hold on.
Oh.
This is one of the
Nice.
Oh, that's
Apex
cool.
Predators. This is the sketch that you saw in his journal. These are the one of the apex predators of Holderima. They are
Puppy.
yeah, big.
No,
nasty
not puppy.
Absolutely not puppy. But we will face giant not puppy next week, along with the Remoraz, and see if
we get into a kaiju battle. That's awesome.
it's a huge kaiju battle with frost giants. If you guys got to try to save this dad and son frost giant who are out here hunting, see if you
Cool.
can be friends with them next week. So, everybody, thanks for
Damn.
coming along with us and hanging out. Always do love giant puppy because it's terrifying.
I want all the art.
These are all from most of these creatures are from Tome of Beasts 2 and Tome of Beasts 1, I think, from Kobold Press. So if you like them, definitely, I bought those books a long time ago. They are fantastic. Go check them out. Tome of Beasts did the Grachnork, the Aurora Horribilis, the Auroras. It's the thing that you ran into, Botrin, out on the Dream. The Aurora Horribilis is another Tome of Beast monster. The Boreal Dragons from the Tome of Beasts as well. So all just fantastic
Dungeons
stuff.
and Dragons.
Yeah, we do love them. And thanks, Maddie, for subscribing. I saw it during the middle of when we were talking.
Of course.
Good to have you subscribe to the stream. But thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks again, Idle Hands, for following, and share with your friends. We want to get up to 100 followers, so we really appreciate everybody hanging out with us. And
come back next week because it's going to be a fucking wild.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wild week next week. So good night, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll see you later.
Bye.